Delve into art, architecture, and design with Srijan Design Academy SDA and thrive in exams, college, and career. Welcome to SDA. Figure-based aptitude. Topic 01. Number of triangles. Relevant for exams like NATA, JEE Paper 2, NID, CEED and UCEED.
Number of triangles. So here we have 4 triangles with us. Let's see how we resolve the problem. So when I take any simple problem, what is going to happen? In this case, I have just one triangle. So that problem is sorted. Now, the moment I start drawing a line, so the moment I draw a line in between, now how many triangles are here? So one thing we can easily see, this blue triangle, which is the full triangle, is the first triangle. If I draw the line, okay, then we can understand on one side, this is one triangle. On the other side, this is another triangle. So what this gives us? This gives us one here and one here. So overall what happened? This is your first triangle and the remaining two are, this is second and third. So therefore from this equation, we got 1 plus 2, that is equals to total 3 triangles. Now this was a very simple problem. Now problem can even be bigger. So let's see what if there are more lines. Now this line we call a vertical line. So when we consider the case of a vertical line, they're generally not issues. So let me take 2 lines. Now what will happen in this problem? So again our blue triangle, which is the main triangle, is number 1 triangle. Let's see what is going to happen to other set of triangles. So in order to simply resolve it, let me find out other triangles. So this is one triangle that we can simply see. This is another triangle that we can simply see. Now there is one more triangle which is in the center. So that is a third triangle. So we can see simply here that we have 3 triangles. Now what happens to the rest of the thing? So for that, let me draw 2 lines and let's see what happens. So I'm drawing this line here and I'm drawing this line here. Now let me draw another line. So when I draw another line, I see this and this. Now from here, I can simply see this, the combination of 2 things becomes one triangle here, and here this becomes again combination of 2 triangles. So this is another triangle. Now you can see one is basically combination of these 2 and another is combination of these 2. So from here what we got? We got 2 triangles. So therefore what is the final number? 1 plus 2 plus 3, and that becomes equals to 6. So now our problem is resolved because now we can clearly see the moment there are more number of lines, what we have to do is just identify the smallest triangles. How many smallest triangles are there? And there we are done. So let's consider the case now. The moment we have 4 lines. So one line, second line, and third line. So how many triangles are here? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because there are 4 triangles, so our equation is very simple. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and that is equals to 10. So I hope students, this is pretty much clear to you that when the vertical lines are there, how we need to solve the problem. So this was about vertical lines. Now let's take the case of horizontal lines. What will happen if we have similarly horizontal lines in the figure? Now when we have one horizontal line, so this is one triangle and that is another triangle, because one is a small triangle which is here and one is a bigger triangle which is here. So we can see that just 2 triangles, 1 and 2, that's it. When we go to a bigger problem, let's say we have 3 lines, what is going to happen then? In case not 3 lines, I will say there are 2 lines. So 1 and 2. So this is first triangle, this is second, and this is third. How these are first, second, and third triangle? So first triangle is obviously this one. Let's talk about second triangle. So this is your second triangle, and that is your third triangle. Now I hope everyone can identify how we go about these figures and how we are able to identify when there are horizontal lines. So when there are horizontal lines, the definition is very clear. We just need to count. Now for your understanding, these horizontal lines are not always straight. So it can be like this, it can be like this. So even if the figure is like this, then even then number of triangles will be 3. Okay, so let's take a case. Even if this is the figure, what is going to happen? The number of triangles will still be 3 because there is no change. Okay, we'll consider a special case in the upcoming questions, but this is good enough for now. So let's go to the very next problem. What if we combine the vertical and horizontal lines? Okay, So how do we combine the vertical and horizontal lines? So let me draw 1 and 2. Okay, these are your vertical lines. This is your one horizontal line. So what we can see in the smaller triangle, how it looks like, if you remember the earlier figure, it is nothing but 1 plus 2 plus 3 kind of a situation. If I look at the bigger figure, so what is that? Again, nothing else but this. Okay, I'll draw the yellow middle line in yellow so that you are clearly see that, okay, this yellow line doesn't make sense here, okay, when we are counting the bigger triangles, but this is again also 1 plus 2 plus 3 combination. So this gives me 6. So this gives me 6. So overall there are 12 triangles. Now it's very easy to understand. Up next, what if we remove some lines? Okay, before we go to that question, let me ask you all a question and then we move ahead. Okay, so what if I have 3 lines and 1 horizontal? What will be the answer? All of you take your time and answer the question. Okay, so it will be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, that is 10, and similarly 10 from here. So that makes it 20 triangles. Now it's very easy to understand. Even if we have a complicated figure like this, we can easily understand how many triangles are there. Now, and this was very easy. Let's move to another problem. What if someone tries to make it a little complicated for us? So they gave us one horizontal line. Very easy to understand. Okay, there are 2 triangles, but they gave us vertical lines like this. Now what will happen? So if I look at the top triangle, which is the blue triangle for us always, we see this is still 1 plus 2 plus 3, and that is nothing but 6. But what happens to the smaller triangle? So when we look at the smaller triangle, let me draw the lines in red. Okay, sorry. So, okay, let me draw the lines here. Draw the line. This is line 1. Now, what happens to the other line? So we can see this is somewhat 1 plus 2, but what is happening to the other line? So because this line is half, because again, this yellow line doesn't make sense. So when we look at the complete triangle, what you can see, that this is a triangle with only one line. So this is nothing but 1 plus 2 combination, that is 3. So the overall answer will be 6 plus 3, and that will be equals to 9. So one question for you all again. What if I make a diagram and where there are just 2 horizontal lines and I have given one vertical and another. So now what will be the answer in this case? Take your time and answer. Yeah, correct. So the first triangle, okay, this will be 6. Let me consider the second triangle. This will also be 6. Let me consider the third triangle. The third triangle will be just with one line, so that will be 3. So overall it is 6 plus 3, and that goes to 15. So okay, we have simply resolved our problem. We just need to see how many horizontal and vertical lines we have, and on the basis of that we can figure out the answer to our problem. Now let's see, someone can still complicate the problem, because you have to understand all these questions are related to your figure based understanding. That means the complexity will keep increasing. So how someone can increase the complexity? So in the first part I told you this horizontal line need not to be parallel. It can even be like this. Now there is a situation that it can even be like this. Now when it is like this, you might be wondering, there is another problem that we will be facing. So what is that problem? So when the line is connecting from another corner, which is this, and then we have this also. Okay, so now this became 2 problems. One, let me identify the top triangle. What is there in the top triangle? Okay, if I draw it, so let me first draw the bigger triangle. This is the bigger triangle which we have. This has a vertical line. Very simple. This is 3. Let's see what is happening in this triangle. So this triangle has got 2 parts. Part A. This is your part A. At the bottom there is a part B. So there is a part B to it. Now in part B there is just one horizontal line. In part A there is one vertical line. So when you have vertical line, what happens? The number of triangles will be 3, because that will be 1 plus 2. When you have just horizontal line, the number of triangles will be simply 2. So what numbers we have? 3 from here, 3 from here, 2 from here. So it becomes 3 plus 3 plus 2, and that makes it 8. See, it was a very complicated figure, but we resolved it. Now, when we have resolved such a complicated figure, what is going to happen if we have another complication in this? See, as usual, we will not face a problem. So see what happens. I draw another line from here. I make 1, 2 and 3. Now what happens? You need to understand. Okay, so bigger triangle. Let me draw the bigger triangle. How many lines? Full lines, 1 and 2. That means this is 6. Okay, let me draw the part A. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 10. Okay, let me draw the part B. How many? 1, 2, 3. So that is 3. What is the simple answer we have now? 10 plus 6 plus 3. And what is that? 19. See, whatever the complication in figure is, we still have the answer with us. So what we have done? We have solved 4 different kinds of problem so far. What are these 4 different kinds of problem? Number 1, when we had only vertical lines. Number 2, when we had only horizontal lines. 3, when we had vertical and horizontal lines. Number 4, when we had vertical and horizontal and spatial problem. Okay, so let's see what's coming up next. Now, if these lines are in all the 3 directions, then what is going to happen? So I draw the line from here, I also draw the line from here, and I take one more line from here. So whenever you find such figures, in a simple language, these are symmetrical. So whenever you have symmetrical figures, what is to remember? That symmetrical figure, whatever there in one direction, that will be there in all the direction. So our bigger triangle, the blue triangle is here, so that will be counted as 1. Let's see what happens to the case. So when I do this, I have one triangle on this side and I have another triangle on this side. So this is 2. But how many such 2s? 3, because we have one line, a second line, and we have third line. So that makes it 6. Let's see another problem. What more is there? We can still see there is some combination of triangles. So 1. So if we can see one triangle here, we can see another triangle here, we can see another triangle here. Now let's look at how this triangle looks like. So if I look at just one triangle, this is one triangle and this has a line in between. So one is the whole triangle which we have, another is one which is inside it, another is one which is another one inside it. So how many are these? These are 3, and these will be in every direction, so that will be 9. So what is the number now? It is 1 plus 6 plus 9, and this number becomes 16. See, again, this was an easy question. We just need to understand how the figures are formed and how we can understand it. So we have understood 5 different kinds of problem. Now we'll move to a last problem of counting the number of triangles. So in this last problem, what we have is a very simple thing, that if the line is drawn like this, and there we have it. So what happens? Simple counting, 1, 2, 3, 4. But no, they are not 4, they are 5 triangles. So 4 are small and 5th is the bigger one. Okay, so this is your 5th triangle. So overall 5 triangles. Now similar problem can be formulated again. How it can be formulated again? Let's see. So now I draw one horizontal line, I draw another horizontal line. I create this figure here, I create this figure here, and I create this figure. Now what is happening? So let's count the number of small triangles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Simple. So 9 figures we have got. Let me draw the same figure here for our easier understanding. So when I draw this here, what we can figure out? 9 we have already counted. And now you can see this is one triangle, okay, the bigger one. This is another triangle, the bigger one, and this is another triangle. So you can see 3 triangles separately. So what is this number now? 3, and the bigger one, that is 1. So again the number comes down to 13. Pretty easy question. So for now, all of you, I have one last question that you all need to solve, and that is a problem for you. In the comments, you all need to answer. So let's go with our last problem of the day. I draw one line, I draw another line, I draw one more line. We form the lines here, form the lines here, we form the lines here. What will be the answer to this question? That is your problem for the day.
For more questions, drop a comment on our video. Subscribe us to Thrive in Exams, College, and Career.